Brandon Beane does it again and re-signs another young stud on the Buffalo Bills. The Bills just got breaking news. Greg Rousseau has been extended through 2029 on a 4-year, $80 million contract extension. You're watching the Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. I am your host, Tyler Smith. We're going to talk all about Greg Rousseau's new deal, the production that he's had in Buffalo so far, and what they're looking to see from him in the future. And, who's next on this long list of contract extensions in Buffalo. But first, I got to make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We are fast approaching 2,000 subs here on the Bills Breakdown. We're less than 100 away, and can't thank you guys enough for the growth that we've seen already on this channel. We're trying to get it up and running big and bad by the regular season in 2025. So make sure you are subscribed if you're a diehard Buffalo Bills fan, and you're always looking for the latest Bills news and rumors. All right, so let's talk about Greg Rousseau here. He gets paid this big bag, 4 years, $80 million, $20 million a year. And a lot of Bills fans I saw on Twitter were not exactly happy with this price point that Beane has extended Rousseau to. Remember, Beane has already extended Khalil Shakir on a 4-year, about $60 million deal. Already extended Terrell Bernard on a big-time deal as well. And now Greg Rousseau with still a few names left to be extended. James Cook and Christian Benford, of course. We'll talk about those guys in a little bit. Let's stick with Rousseau for now, though. In 2024, Greg Rousseau, and Bills fans have been waiting for him to have this real big breakout, to be this star edge rusher that can kind of take over games and game wreck and be the thorn in the side of a guy like Patrick Mahomes and really wreck those games late on. And he came along in 2024, no doubt about it. Didn't amass 10 sacks, but he was top 10 in pressures among edges in the NFL. He was the man with the 12th best PFF grade among edges in the entire league, and he's being paid as such. I looked at the top 10 to top 15 AAVs per edge rusher in the NFL, and Greg Rousseau is getting paid right around that 12th, 13th spot. So I think that's fine for a guy who is ascending right now, is, still a young player and gets better every single year. Can improve in the run game, but he can get to the quarterback, no doubt about it. It's not always going to result in a sack, but I like to liken pressures to sacks like deflections to steals in basketball. You're not always going to create a turnover. You're not always going to get the quarterback on the ground. But if you're making his life hell back there and you're getting to him and you're making throws and for him uncomfortable, maybe have to have him try to escape the pocket, like you're doing your job out there at the edge spot. I think Rousseau is a really athletic player. There's still refinements to be made in his game. And I do think that Buffalo does need to add another big-time edge rusher in this offseason. I know that they are still over the cap at this point, but this is the NFL. Like these contract extensions are going to free up money. These restructures with Ed Oliver, Josh Allen, and some others can free up some money for Buffalo. And obviously, cutting some guys that are going to be, not in Buffalo next season can work out and create some more money on the cap sheet as well. The Bills, with only a couple of moves, can create like up to $40 million in cap space. So they're going to be able to add another stud to this defense. And that's where I really think that they're focusing at this point. Obviously, they extended Shakir, but the other ones like Rousseau and Bernard now have really given Buffalo an identity on the defense. They want to win games with their defense and not be giving up 45 points in back-to-back weeks like they did against the Detroit Lions and Los Angeles Rams this past season. Rousseau is going to be a part of the foundation of that. I do think he needs a running mate, though, on the other side, and I do think that Buffalo should keep their main priority this season going out and trading for Myles Garrett. I mean, at the end of the day, pass rushers like him don't come along on the trade market really ever. I mean, yeah, we saw Khalil Mack go a couple of years ago. We've heard rumblings about like Max Crosby maybe leaving Las Vegas, but look, he's locked up for the next couple of years. Bills are out on that. Aside from Garrett, like who out there, especially like in free agency as well, there aren't a ton of crazy names. Like, yeah, Khalil Mack's back out there. Maybe he would be a good fit in Buffalo. But I need a game wrecker. I need somebody who is going to get to the quarterback every single down. Every time he puts his hand in the dirt, he's going out there with basically, killing on his mind when he gets to the quarterback back there and making the job easier, giving the offense and Josh Allen short fields every single day. the whole deal for Rousseau, it feels kind of status quo to me. I mean, I think that he is going to continue to get better. I think he's going to have these 10-sack seasons. I know he had 9 sacks in 2024, and 3 of them came in week 1, but he is a player who is continuing to get better, and he is refining the areas of his game that he needs to improve upon. And that is the telltale sign of a player who you want to keep around for a long time, somebody who continuously gets better. And, down the line, 2 years from now, this contract could look like a bargain. So let me know what you guys think about it down below in the comments section. Grade the extension of Greg Rousseau, 4 years, $80 million, staying in Buffalo through 2029. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. So let's transition now to the extensions that are still potentially on their books at this point. Talk about James Cook, talk about Christian Benford. In my opinion, and I think a lot of Bills fans' opinions, Benford is the priority. And for a Bills secondary who has lost, some of their biggest playmakers over the last couple of seasons. We know Trey White obviously didn't ever fully recover and become the same player that he was prior to the injuries. Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, obviously both of those guys aged out of being productive enough to keep on the field for long stretches in Buffalo. You got a guy like Cole Bishop coming up in his second year. Obviously, Taylor Rapp was a really, really big piece. But those are, 2 high safeties that Buffalo is going to be running. You need somebody at this CB spot, and Benford clearly has been the best one. Obviously, you got guys like Taron Johnson coming back, Kyer Elam. But I also think Buffalo needs to potentially look at adding another CB to this room. Elam just has not done it for Buffalo to this point. It seems like a kind of a whiff of a draft pick. And, there's too many good receivers and too many good quarterbacks in the AFC to have to worry about not having an elite secondary. Buffalo needs to be really, really good at 2 facets of their defense: pass rush and guarding wide receivers. And Benford's going to be a big proponent of that. What's the deal going to look like for him? It's probably going to be something in the $20 million a year range. Like, he's going to be a very sought-after piece for this Buffalo team, and he knows that. His representation knows that. I think the Buffalo Bills front office knows that as well. What about James Cook, though? Because now that you've re-signed Shakir, you've re-signed Rousseau, and you've re-signed Bernard, and you're probably going to re-sign Benford, like, where is all this money coming from eventually? The books are going to stack up for Buffalo. They're already $9 million over the cap right now. They need to free up some space to add more talent this offseason, and obviously even sign their draft class, because that takes some salary cap space as well. Is James Cook going to be a part of Buffalo's future at this point? I'm going to say not for $15 million. I just don't think that they value the running back position as something with the pieces they have in place right now and the extensions they've already made to be paying a guy like that $15 million. Maybe it's something like $11 million with incentives that can get up to $15 million. And I understand that Cook is like 25 years old and he is still ascending. He is getting better. He's had his every season of his career he has improved. And the fumbling has been, decreased, and that hasn't really been an issue. Instant big plays, 60-yard runs he can bust any single time. But $15 million is a lot of money to commit to a player that, I know is valuable. And I would argue, and I have argued on this channel before, that he is Josh's and this offense's top weapon outside of the quarterback spot. But man, $15 million is a lot. And numbers are real, and this is a business, and you have to be able to allocate resources in the right spaces for you to go out there and win a Super Bowl. Listen, I know the Eagles just won a Super Bowl paying Saquon Barkley a bunch of money, and they're going out and paying him like $20 million now. He earned that. I'm not so sure that James Cook has fully earned, the respect of and the respect in dollars that a guy like Saquon Barkley has, and I don't think it's necessarily very close. I would love to see him back in Buffalo. I want him to be in the 716 playing in Orchard Park as much as as long as possible, because he has been that dynamic for this Buffalo offense. But $15 million seems like a number that I probably can't get to on a base salary, maybe with some incentives. But at the end of the day, I just don't see it happening with all the extensions that Brandon Beane has made so far. And he's made and in my opinion, he's done it with the right players. Obviously, you have to get Josh another weapon on the at the receiver spot. Shakir, one of the best slot guys in the league, and can go off for big games. Bernard, one of the best, green dot guys that we have in this league, and $90 million, yeah, he deserves it. Greg Rousseau, $80 million, it's probably the going rate for a player of his stature at this point. He's like a top 15 edge in the league, and I think that's a good thing to have. But they still need to go out and get that game wrecker. I don't know if James Cook will be in the plans if Buffalo wants to go and do that. What move should Brandon Beane make next? Should it be re-signing Christian Benford? I know a lot of people are probably going to say that. Should it be re-signing James Cook and extending him for big money? Or should it be going out there and making a big splash trade? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. And as always, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Like I said at the top of this video, we're fast approaching 2,000 subscribers here on the Bills Breakdown. So we'll catch you guys all in the next one. And as always, go Bills.